I have to address this. Don't call me late. Don't call me fashionably late. Just kidding. What's up, guys? We're about to start the TNC radio portion of this. Obviously, on the opposite side of me is Tom Kelly, TNCradio.live. And in between the two of us is Jesper from the Gig Economy podcast. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Ben?
I'm doing good.
Jesper? Yeah.
I'm doing good.
Good. So yeah, it looks like a few you guys are already in here. What's up, Rachel? What's up, Tommy? What's up, JJ? What's up, Red? And what's up, Chris? So I thought no more late. No, Chris. The late thing is a bet with Gary on Sundays. But I got this. I'm gonna crush it. What's up, Thomas? How are you? I'm just getting ready to get things going on the radio side. If you guys don't remember how this works, let me put it real quickly. So when we go live on radio, I turn the comments off so that I'm focused on the articles we talk about and whatnot. And we do have some for tonight. Also, it's the 1 year anniversary, but I guess next week kind of could be too. It'll be a two-parter. Because Bill might be joining us tonight, and then next week Jason will be here, so we kind of got to split it up. But yes, it's a 1 year deal. We're gonna celebrate it for a couple weeks here because it's awesome. So. What's up, Brian Johnson? How are you? How's everybody's week going? Glad to see that. I was who was it? Oh, Red. I think I saw you last night, or maybe I just at least strolled across you as a. Yes, I was playing with Discord for like the first time ever. Like, I mean, I've had it and I've been like, whatever, is it just subscribed to your server? Is that what it is? Like if I'm subscribed to the Gig Economy podcast server, right? Is that how I'd say it?
Yeah. Do we have a Discord? I didn't know we do.
Yes.
There you go. I use it for lots of other things. I didn't realize we had a Discord. When did we start that?
I don't know. I think it just auto posts everything you do. Maybe either audio or YouTube.
I knew we had that. It's Jason has been putting on Discord as well. Yeah. I knew that. Yeah.
Looks like a little chat happens in there. But anyway, I ran into Red in there last night. I don't know if you saw Red. I'm just learning, so I added you as a friend. I'm trying to get this Discord thing down. I mean, I think I got it, but if I got it the way everybody was, I'm just barely starting to see what could be some benefits. Because at first I was like, what is this? What am I going to do here? Because it just looked like it basically looked like Telegram. Kind of to me. It was like, well, what is it? It's just like chat.
Right. It's a chat tool.
But it's more powerful. There's voice and I know the chat Telegram has a lot of things too. But I mean, I have seen like Mr. Flex has a Discord channel that's set up like really dialed, has all kinds of features.
Gamers use it very, very widely.
Yeah.
Because it's very good to have it running in the background of like if you are chatting with people while you're gaming, then people doing it that way. So
yeah. Isn't Twitch the bigger gamer one though?
For streaming games, you want to do that on Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I know you guys do your podcast on Twitch. I think I tried once streaming to Twitch or twice, and I never had a viewer. Like
we have a couple of regulars that's all they use.
Okay,
so that's why we still on Twitch. But
yeah. Yeah, he does. What's up, Red? Yes, Sin City does have a Discord. I'm not sure. If you guys go there, there's limitations. I think we were talking about this a little bit last week or whatnot. There's limitations without paying. So just, triple think about what you're doing. As Mr. Flex says, don't pay anybody for Discord.
No.
Even if they're offering things or whatever. I don't know. Flex gave me good reason to feel that way. And
all right, guys, here we go in 3, 2, 1. welcome in TNCradio.live. It's Friday night. That means it's time for Driver Nation right here on TNCradio.live. I'm Tom Kelly along with Jesper and Steve. And guys, happy anniversary, baby.
Tom
Tom.
turned 100 today.
Appreciate that.
That's not very nice, Steve.
Like it, don't I? But,
Hey, he always gets me, man.
yeah.
It's only fair.
Well, the good news, Tom, is you don't look 100. You don't look a day over 60.
I'm looking at Steve's beard.
Yeah, I trimmed it back though. I keep it back now.
So, I mean, what is that?
Laziness.
Yeah.
I mean,
when was the last?
No.
You shaved like 4 weeks ago, right? And
no, you know what it is, and you already know. I think I just take the clippers to it. I don't shave much.
Okay, you just zip.
Yep.
Okay,
I do it every couple days. It's just either that or I grow it out sometimes. But it's summer, so not a chance.
There's so much gray in it. I don't actually see the hair.
No, dude. You should see my hair.
It just looks like your face is dirty.
Yeah, that's what I was going for, man. Sweet.
Okay. The dirty.
You know.
Hey, it's great to have you guys with us. We're celebrating 1 year. It was a year ago this weekend that we started this little thing. And Steve, really, I think in the last year we've missed maybe 4.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that's on the high side. It could be as few as 2 or 3, but.
Well, I know we missed Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay, well, I was.
Those are 2.
I'm talking about where we just didn't do the show because something came up, issue or whatever.
Yeah.
But
very few.
Not including holidays.
Very few.
We've been very good about making it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, at least 2 of us have.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. Well, I didn't join until later on, so don't blame me.
Yeah,
I wasn't even invited until later on. So
Jason didn't invite you to fill in for him all summer.
He didn't. No, well, that was last year. We don't want to talk about that.
This is roughly our 45th episode, I'd say. Something about that, around there.
Okay.
We're between 45 and 50.
Right, but it's still a year. I mean, it's still a year. There's just been and even on the I guess on the ones we didn't, you played podcast rewinds. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, we gotta be near 50 episodes, and it's a year, and all the more reason to have a 2-week celebration.
That's right.
That's right. 2-week celebration. I thought you only did that on weddings.
What about Mardi Gras? Or not Mardi Gras? What about Mardi Gras? Jazz Fest is 3 weeks.
I feel like I'm too old to handle anything more than one night.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot you guys, there's a lot going on this week. We had a pretty rough roundtable last night because it was hard to get around just the bad stories.
Well, in the trucking world, there was one really good story.
Yes.
That came out of Rhode Island, where for the first time in ages, the drivers won a court battle. It was so bogus anyway. I mean, the state of Rhode Island, for those of you who don't know, charged toll roads and bridges for the trucks and only the trucks.
Oh, that makes no sense.
Yeah. And expensive too. I'm talking like, you could easily spend a couple $100 just driving through the pissant little state of Rhode Island
on one trip.
Oh yeah, it was very, very expensive, and so the courts came back and said, no, you can't do that. You need to stop that within 48 hours. It took them about 15 hours to turn it off, and they haven't said yet whether or not this is going to be retroactive, because the first lawsuit was actually like 2 years ago. I wonder, and this might be the settlement here. Might be, I tell you what, we'll never turn it on again if you don't go back for the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, if they go, well, we're going to keep fighting this, then I think that the next thing that will happen is the truck drivers will all say, okay, well, pay us back then for the last couple of years.
Don't you think it'll be something that, I mean, they have to get that money somehow, right? So don't you think they're just going to turn it on for everybody?
Oh, of course, they are getting their money somehow.
So how?
By increasing the cost of goods that you pay for.
Well, sure, yeah, but do you think they're just going to completely not do because I mean, you're talking about road taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they just going to not do any road tax at all in Rhode Island?
Well, I mean, they get it out of their gasoline, like most states.
Right. So in Denmark, you pay road taxes too, right? And you pay road taxes based on the weight of the vehicle. That's how it's done for 50 years.
No, we don't. We don't have anything like that in the States.
No, but why not?
Because most states get their road taxes out of the gasoline. You'd be stunned on most states how much of a gallon of gasoline is just taxes.
Oh, I'm with you. That's what it is in Europe too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was looking at, and I know Norway's not always a good gauge because they're on the highest end of anything you'd buy. However, I did see like even the charging stations for Tesla have gone through the roof on what they're charging.
That's because electricity right now in Scandinavia is just ridiculous. I mean, I heard some of my friends in Denmark, they're saying it's going to cost them between $10,000 and $15,000 to heat their house this winter.
Wow!
I mean, because of the electricity, it's insane in Denmark right now.
Like, what would be normally what?
I don't know, maybe a couple thousand.
Wow!
I mean, it's just gone through the roof.
Again now, what did you just say?
Well, one said that he had he was envisioning, what was it? It's going to cost him about 50,000 kroner, which you want to divide that by, what is that, 6.5, 7, something like that. So what is that? So maybe $8,000. Sorry, $8,000. But still, in electricity to heat your house this winter.
Unbelievable.
Right? I mean, and of course that ripples down to the cost of the Tesla charging stations too, of course. And it's crazy about Norway because Norway is one of the countries in all of Europe that has the most oil in the underground.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
they don't have to charge that money.
But oddly, for this show, this is, you guys, oddly, we've talked about Norway a few times. But yeah. They do. I think they do everything so well that obviously all that money, even though they have the oil reserves, it's like everything they do to keep garbage underground. And
sure.
I mean, they're so tech advanced that it must all just be going right back out the door to all that stuff.
I mean, it obviously costs money to have these societies. Absolutely, it does. I mean, and the problem that all the Scandinavian countries has is that there's very few people to pay the bill. I mean, Denmark have 6 million people. Sweden have 9 million people. Norway has, I think, roughly the same, right? So it's not that many people to pay for all this upkeep.
Yeah, Norway, if that's the population, Norway has barely more people than New York City.
Right. I honestly don't know how many people is in Norway. I'm going to have to go to Google, right? But it's, I think last I checked, Sweden had 9 million people.
But Tom, real quick, talking about the truckers, and you said the win. When you said the win, I'm going, I saw it. Wasn't the win I was looking at. Another win happened too.
What's that?
So this is from yesterday. The California for the lawsuit over the AB5 independent contractor law that ended for the truckers and no longer has a carve out and all this stuff.
Right.
The state of California had prepared a whole thing to keep the Owner Operated Independent Drivers Association, the OOIDA,
right,
out of the court. That they were supposed to be handled by the, they were supposed to be handled by the California Trucking Association. And California was stoked because they were going to say, nope, you're represented by them, you're screwed. But the judge is Judge Benitez is the same one from Southern California who back in 2020 said, no, even though we're not giving them a carve out, we're not doing anything to the truckers. No way. And now he said, no, the owner operated independent drivers association is allowed to take over for the California Trucking Association and handle this themselves.
Well, that's good because, yeah, and I won't get into all the stuff that's behind it, but but the OOIDA is not always in agreement with the TCA and the bodies that make up the TCA, which are, there's a version of the TCA in every state. And in California, the TCA is the Truckload Carriers Association. They're the largest, but they mostly care about the big firms, where the OOIDA cares about the little guy. Yeah. And a lot of times they're in agreement.
Well, it says they're going to both be able to. They're both going to be allowed to take on the case, but it's the OOIDA that will be listed. So they're gonna run the show. They're going to be allowed to have the California Trucking Association behind them.
And understand why that is.
Yeah, I do, and that's what I like.
The California Trucking Association doesn't need this. Right. If they lose, it's kind of like, well, that's a shame. But the OOIDA actually represents the people who are the owner operator independent driver association. That's what OOIDA stands for. Okay. So the guys who actually are impacted most by AB5, which would be the people who are represented by OOIDA, are going to be in a position to be better represented now that this judge has done this. So yeah, great news on that one too.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Love it.
Tom, maybe obviously you probably know this. In the truckers, in America, how many of trucks today, percentage wise, is still owner operated, and how many are big companies?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I've got all of that, but I just don't have it right here in front of me. Let me see.
If you can just ballpark it, it's interesting to me because I again, obviously here in Michigan, lots of trucks, right? But how many of them is owned by businesses, and how many of them are independent drivers?
I'll tell you after our commercial. We got a commercial coming up in a few minutes, and I'll look all that up because I've got all of those stats. It's just one of those things that I have off the top of my head, but roughly, I want to say that it's something like 90% of truck drivers don't work for the large firms.
Wow! So 90% of all the truck all the goods that are what's it called, driven around in America is done by independent contractors, independent drivers. That's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. See if I can. Oh, sorry, 50%.
Oh, well, but still, that's half.
50%.
That's pretty. I guess I didn't realize that there was that many still independent drivers left.
Well, and it's growing, but yeah. So the big. What are the big companies here? Riverside, Schneider, Pam Transport, Ryder, KSM Carrier Group. Those are the big companies.
Okay.
Okay, and they have owner operator programs within them, but take Schneider for example. A lot of those drivers, you get a W-2, and you're driving their truck. And now one of the things that AB5 kills almost instantly is where a driver goes to work for a company like Schneider, and they lease the truck from Schneider. And it's really a convoluted mess, but it is a way for somebody who has no money for a down payment to one day own their own truck. And trucks, you got to understand, a really good truck that you want to hold on to for life and that kind of stuff, you'll spend a couple $100,000 on it.
Sure, but I'm assuming you'll make that investment back fairly quickly.
Well, that's the problem with this owner lease thing that they do back to the companies. It's like buying a house. You know, after 20 years, you look and you go, okay, well, my truck's 20 years old and I own 50% of it.
Right.
You know, and there are opportunities to do balloon payments and all that, but that whole bit is kind of a mess. And there are owner operators who like AB5 because this kind of killed that program in California, or at least it looks like it will. I don't think it's going to work to their advantage. This is one of the reasons I keep saying, you know, the only way to fix AB5 is to let AB5 become law, because as soon as they realize that,
you mean enforce it more. It is law.
Well, yeah.
Or AB 2257 is law, but it's.
But you know, actually do something with it, because they don't actually do anything with it right now. But you know,
but they find a nonprofit opera house. I mean, if they got the time to waste on that, my God. You know, and by the way, I know we got to go to radio break, but I need to bring some closure to how cool this judge is who first fought for the truckers. His name again is Benitez, represents Southern California. So his argument, the whole reason this was able to happen, I just found this was, so the Benitez had initially said that the OOIDA wasn't, when they wanted to be involved back in 2021 to this fighting this, it wasn't time, not only timely, but precedent, and it was already in the hands of the other way. But then he says, because the Commerce Clause question of all this, basically because AB5 became AB 2257, he was able to go back in there and say that now, because it's a different bill, he can take in the argument that the individuals most impacted by the enforcement of AB5 are independent truckers and not the association.
Mm-hmm.
But he couldn't make that argument if it had stayed AB5, and that's what California was telling him. Sorry, we already passed it. You can't do that. And his find here was, well, it's AB 2257, and I can do it on that one.
Oh yeah.
So I like this guy.
Yeah.
He's like sticking it to him. I like it. So anyway, that was another good news for the.
Very much. Yeah, that is good.
So.
All right. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay right there. Okay, guys, when we come back, we have to do the keywords.
Okay.
Okay.
And can we wait? Should we tell people what the keywords mean again? Or
I'll explain it all.
Okay. What's up, Rodney? And what's up, Rhode Island? I didn't know if you saw this, Tom, but
yeah,
Rhode Island hiker.
I'm sorry I called your state pissant.
It is pretty small, though.
Yeah. Where I got that actually is when I moved from Missouri to Texas. I had never been in a state that has so much state pride as Texas does. And I found it very odd when I first got here. And one of the first people who I ran into was the cop at the DMV, where I changed my license from a state of Missouri license to a state of Texas license. And he says, okay, tell me your license number. I'm like, K05472836842. And finally he looks at me and goes, that's a bunch of numbers from a pissant state like Missouri. I was like, oh, okay, sorry. So he had to take my license from me and write them all down himself because I was going too fast for him, I guess. And and so it was that was my introduction to these people down here in Texas. They take the state stuff real seriously.
Just so you all know, if you forgot, Tom's in Texas. He's talking about himself.
Yeah, they did.
Did you see that? And we can talk about this. I know we're not on radio, but did you see they caught the teapot hacker today?
No.
Yep. They caught him arrested him in England. So
he
goes.
Why was he in England?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But he has the God, Gary was telling me about it. He has the he had enough time in the hack to the big concern about the hack was that it wasn't a hack of data of users. It was a hack of the source code for Uber. Like basically Gary was saying what he got was enough to like sell on the black market or open your own Uber worldwide immediately.
Oh yeah.
If he went to England or the U.S. or any of the Commonwealths, or he was just asking to get caught.
You know what else? You know what else I found weird is that after that, he decided under the same name, this teapot thing that he's doing, he decided I'm going to hack Rockstar Games and hacked online Red Dead Redemption and
he was looking to get caught.
Yeah, I mean, but he got in and he did the same thing. He terrorized it. He like tore it down. Like what do you call it? What's the other big one, Jesper, that Rockstar does? Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, great.
He got that in Red Dead Redemption online. He like screwed them all up.
But see, it's basically the same source code. It's the same server code that they run on.
I don't know. Everybody's pretty happy they got this guy, and I'm just thinking, it's like people are going
running,
and I'm like, there's 10,000 others.
Oh yeah.
It's one.
But he was also just proving.
We have a caller who's joined the program. Mr. Caller, who are you?
Yes, my name is Mr. Caller. How did you know my name?
Yes. How are you, Bill? Bill, welcome in.
Hello, gentlemen. Happy anniversary, everybody.
Happy anniversary.
Chopper Waldrop has joined the program. Chopper, Bill, part of our original team here. Bill's done how many thousands of rides, Bill, that you've done for Uber?
6,000 or 8,000. That's all. Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. So, but Bill's taking a break from the world of Ubering because, quite frankly, sitting in the car like that all the time was wrecking his back. And I think there's a lot of people. Raise your hand. Okay. Yeah. I see all those hands going up. A lot of people who can tell you that this is not a great job if you want to say
if you have back problems.
Yeah, right. Well, you'll get back problems is the point.
Yeah,
you could have also said he stopped doing Uber because he became a cop again.
Well, that's why. but that's the thing. He loved doing it. It wasn't like he was going broke or something, but
No, guys, it's been a while since I've driven. It's been since February, and I miss it. I still do. I wish I could get back out there. I just don't have the time anymore. So,
right.
I want to pass on happy anniversary. I believe the first anniversary is paper, and I like things on green paper. So, you just mail me a check.
Okay, so. Good. Yeah. Well, I thought you wanted green paper.
Hey, nothing says loving like cash. So that'll work.
All right.
I thought you were supposed to send it to us.
Hold on. No? Back in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCradio.live. It's Friday night. That means it's Driver Nation. Tom Kelly here along with Steve and Jesper and Bill Waldrop has joined us. Good evening.
Hello,
Bill.
everybody. Hi, guys. Happy first
anniversary.
And y'all good.
Hello.
Others, feel free to join too. You can give us a call at 706-862-8620. That's 706-TNC-0. Love to take your calls. Love to have you in here. And before we get too much further, Bill, today we are giving out keywords. So everybody listen real carefully here on how this works. Okay. We're going to give out 4 keywords. Okay. And you go to TNCradio.live, our website, or use the app. Doesn't matter. Go in there and put in each of the keywords. You got to put them in separately along with your information. And every day, so the next drawing will be noon Eastern time on Monday. We draw a name for $1,000. And after we draw that name, get hold of that person, we draw another name for $1,000. Now you're thinking, okay, how are you doing this? Okay, we're together with a bunch of other radio stations. We pooled our money. We're going to give away $60,000 between now and the end of October. And does it work? Well, we already had one of our listeners on Wednesday, I think it was. One of our listeners won the stuff already. So, yeah, it works. So, jump in and let's check this out real quick. Welcome to TNCradio.live. I'm on the phone with Lori. And Lori, you got some news earlier today. Tell us what happened.
Well, I got a phone call on I wasn't going to take the call because I didn't know the phone number, but I said, okay, I'm going to take it. And he said, congratulations, you just won $1,000. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
All right, so you were listening to Steve Summers, and he put the word out there, and you jumped on, put the word in. It was that simple. You won $1,000, huh?
It was that easy. It was that easy. Yes.
That is cool. Well, hey, I just wanted to call you and congratulate you, and thank you for being a listener and for participating in the contest. And hey, keep playing. You can keep winning.
Thank you so much. Have an awesome day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that was Lori listening in on TNCradio.live. Your chance to win $1,000 in the Daily Driver bonus giveaway coming up soon. Good luck from TNCradio.live and Hot Shot Secret. Got to get that sponsor name in
that's
there.
Awesome.
So, awesome. That's very awesome. So here are the words for today. Word number 1, bounty. Bounty, Bounty, like Bounty paper towels. Word number 2, spend. Spend. Steve, how would you like to spend $1,000?
Doubling it down.
Number 3, dive. Dive. Steve is going to take a dive. D-I-V-E, dive. And the fourth and final word for today, Friday, September the 23rd, 2022, return. Return. R-E-T-U-R-N. Return. Bounty, spend, dive, return. Guys, jump in there. You know what? Takes you 2 minutes to put in those 4 words, and you get your chance to win $1,000. And some of our listeners have already won, so go for it. Let's see if.
So, Tom, I just want to confirm that when I go in and enter my 4 words, I have to put in my name and my phone number, so y'all can call me when I win. Is that correct?
That's right. We got to have the phone number, email address. Just fill out the form. It only takes a moment, and we're not going to sell it or anything like that. But yeah, that's just.
Well, wait a minute! Don't promise him stuff.
I'm not going to sell it.
I mean, okay, let's build, but
you're not going to hear from our sponsor. But, it's, but seriously, this stuff from Hot Shot Secret, it's fuel additives and that kind of stuff. And if you don't drive anything with any kind of diesel engine, it stops the gelling in the winter. But even for the gasoline-powered engines, can vastly improve your gas mileage. So if you're looking to improve your gas mileage, you just throw in a little piece of, it's a little quart thing, put it in with your gas, and it helps big time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wonderful.
So
I'll put that in my Ferrari and see how it works. I'll let you know.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's I meant to say my Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
Don't remember the Ferrari. Don't forget, Bill. The Ferrari is a company car.
is the Ferrari an Uber X?
Yeah, it's Uber Black, right?
No,
I think it's just an X, man.
It's a new thing called Uber Fast. I've been wanting to build this video forever called Uber Fast. I'm going to make it look just so much like an Uber thing that it's going to look real, and introduce this. I drive a Camaro when I'm not driving Uber stuff, and I'm going to have my son. I'm picking him up at the airport. I've got all the Uber stuff on my car and everything. And it's like he's starting to get in. I'm like, get in. Forget your luggage. Get in. Yeah, we the airport as fast as we can and everything. And it's like this new thing now. We will get you from point A to point B as fast as we possibly can. Forget safety. Safety's not important. Jump in as fast as you can.
Yeah, get a couple of video shots of the tachometer going up to about 8.
Oh yeah, oh no, yeah. We'll spin the wheels and the whole bit. We'll have some fun with it. So I'm going to get that done for April 1st one of these years. So we'll build that out. We'll have a lot of fun with it.
There you go. I mean, technically though, Tom, if you spend less time on the road, the chance of you getting in an accident is smaller too.
Right. Exactly. So
Right.
Yeah. So we're in the process of getting from there to there. Bill, I know you can't stay with us real long
Right.
because it's Friday night in Texas. Yeah, and Friday night in
And
Texas,
we all know that means football.
Football. And Bill works with a school district that where he dispatches police officers and all that kind of stuff. And on a Friday night, that makes him pretty dang busy. Seriously, by now everybody should know what Texas and high school football are all about. They've even done a TV series, movies, the whole bit. It's really rather odd, but it's
almost a religion out here. It really is.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've got big crowds out there. I currently have 18 officers on duty at this one event. So, we have a very large presence there. So don't even think about it.
And what's really weird, if you've never lived in or been in Texas on a Friday night during the football season, they actually stop the newscast about 10:20 local time. We do the news at 10 o'clock, about 10:20, and then they do 20 to 25 minutes of reporting from all around the different high schools, giving you the updates, if the game's still going on, or explaining who won and who lost, and showing highlights. And I look at this every Friday night thinking, seriously? Yeah, I mean, but these people,
they get better coverage than the NFL.
Oh, by far. Yeah. These guys, the people are crazy about this stuff. And that's just the way it is. So that's why Bill, at any second, and I told Bill that at any moment you might suddenly disappear because because something's happening and you got to go deal with it.
So Bill, how many people is at the event? How many spectators is at the event you have right now?
I guess the stadium probably holds 5,000 to 6,000 people.
Wow. Those are the big school stadiums, huh?
Oh yeah.
Our stadiums are the size of professional stadiums here. Oh, I got an officer calling. I'm going to mute for just a second. I'll be right back.
All right, thanks.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Right. That's like 18 police officers not working where they might be elsewhere.
But
that many need to be at a game. It's
they
crazy.
are where the people are, though, Steve. So that's okay.
Right, but I think that even if it weren't a football game, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, that would probably be overkill amount of officers for that amount of people at not a football game.
Oh, yeah.
My guess is there's more officers because it's a football game.
Oh yeah. So here I can show this, and Steve, you can set this up so that others can see it who are watching us online. So let me share real quick. Share screen. I think that's for nope. Let's go to screen 2. All right. Well, and pop back over here. Just to give you guys an idea. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh.
That's a high school football stadium. No, this is CCISD, the closest one to my house. Thousands of people.
That's much bigger than mine. Our local football stadium.
Right.
Yeah. On ours,
But this is a high school, right?
Yeah.
That looks about the size of Rutgers Stadium.
Yeah, it's bigger than some
I'm sure.
So how many students is at CCISD?
Oh, I would have to look it up. You ask a lot of questions.
But several
Yeah,
thousand.
in my school district on the west side of Houston, we have about 40,000 students, and we have about 30 campuses. So it's a big district, and we do tailgating at high school football games, just like the professional team.
Oh yeah.
So that's.
I mean, there's not a lot of beer, but they are cooking dogs and burgers and things like that. But oh yeah.
Well, there's probably a lot of beer.
The CCISD stadium can hold 10,000 fans.
Like people are covert about it, right? I mean, I would imagine people are drinking.
I think one of the biggest stadiums we have in Texas. It's not a high school thing. It's at University of Texas in Austin. I believe that stadium holds what, Tom? 110,000 people.
Oh yeah, those are huge too.
Oh my God!
I mean,
Jesper's. I don't know how big the A&M one is, but it's huge. But I know Texas is like 110,000, which is bigger than any professional NFL stadium, as far as I know. So that's how serious it is.
I think there's a lot of colleges that are like. I mean, OSU is bigger than any pro. University of Michigan.
Well, guys, I'll tell you what. I've got officers calling in. I got another round coming here, so I'm going to have to bid you farewell. Y'all have a great Friday night. Happy anniversary again, and I'll check in next time. Y'all be good.
Sounds great. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you dropping in.
Yes, sir. Take care, guys. Good night.
All right, and everybody, you're listening to TNCradio.live simulcast right now on YouTube. Just go over to the Rideshare Rodeo page, Rideshare Rodeo. That's Steve's page, and you can watch us there. If you're out driving, then this is the safe way to do it. And come on in and listen here on TNCradio.live. We don't do a lot of pictures and stuff like that, so you're not going to miss anything by just doing it on the radio side. So, So Steve, that was great to hear from Bill.
I was gonna say if he's gonna drop.
What kinds of stories do you want to talk about tonight?
You need to have a background chopper noise for when Bill comes on.
I'm not hearing you, Steve.
You're not hearing me?
Steve, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've lost Jesper, and I'm not hearing Steve. So I tell you what. Yep, Steve is gone. We're going to go commercial break on the radio side. Be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay right there.
Can you hear me now?
All right, Steve, are you back?
Can you hear me?
Not hearing you.
Really?
Got another caller out here. I'm going to bring him in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, testing.
Johnny, hey, are you there?
Hear me?
Testing.
Yes, I hear you fine.
Well, we lost Steve, but so I wanted to talk a little bit about just the gig work, like that other caller was saying, like it's hell heck on your back.
Yeah,
it can be. Getting in and out and moving around seems to really help me. That's why I like the food delivery side. It's nice because you're constantly pretty much getting in and out, moving around. Well, anyways, I really feel that we could that legislation Stefanik's pushing. It's more just for the truckers, but it also covers gig work and independent contracting in general. And it's just wonderful legislation. And like for the first time, I'm going to vote for her because she's my congressional district. So I always felt she was more of a party statist, but this time she seems to be fighting for workers' rights. And what do you guys think of that legislation?
All right, is this
Steve,
Blood
are we
Soda?
able to hear you now?
Can you hear me? Everybody can hear me.
I'm checking to see if we can hear Steve yet.
I think
everybody
can
hear him on the YouTube side, but not on coming through my side here. And
I don't hear him either.
Yeah. So Steve, how about if I leave studio and come right back? Is that the best thing to do?
I guess if they're hearing me, it's you pulling the sound through. I don't know what's going on.
I'm going to leave studio and come right back and see if we're still there. So hang on here, Johnny. Just
What's up, Bud Soda? I missed probably what you were saying, but I have that up as a story actually right now. If you're talking about the WFCA legislation. Oh, he shut the studio down. Hi. Oh boy. Hey, what's up, Heidi? How are you? Yeah, I don't know what happened. If everybody else was hearing me, then that should have been good. When he comes back, I'll go like this. So we'll see what happens. How you guys all doing? I'm gonna bring him back in. Let's see.
All right, now I hear you. So
Okay.
must have been something on my side. So we've got Johnny. Well, just lost Johnny.
Yeah. Johnny's Bud Soda.
Johnny's there. So Johnny, are you still there?
Yo, Bud Soda.
Yeah, lost Johnny here for a second. Let me somehow lost that back in here to do a call back.
Wait, I wasn't before? What is this? Come on. Did you guys all see 2 weeks ago when Tom put up the picture of Jerry Garcia next to his face? It's pretty awesome. It's pretty damn close. So anyway, yeah, I got a story. I think Bud Soda, who that was talking about this story when I was coming back in. Because I think he was talking about Stefanik, the Republican from New York?
I'm not sure who he was. I'm sorry, Steve. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
That's all right.
Crap. We're just having all sorts of fun technical stuff all of a sudden.
Hey, smack that like button, y'all. Let's get some more people in here. Looks like there's 18, some lurkers. We got some good people hanging out in the chat. Always like, I know we start early on Fridays. I know people, this for a lot of East Coasters and stuff. I know this is dinner time rush and you guys are working, so we always appreciate you joining us. Yeah, I don't know where Bud Soda is, but I'm kind of holding off on this till in case Bud Soda, you're listening. Get back on here. You came on, man. Get on here. I can also share a link. I can share a link if it's easier for you through StreamYard.
Callers from the Call-In Studio web interface.
All right. Now I can take callers again. I'm sorry I lost you there, Johnny, but I think we're back up and going.
Mr. Soda, call back because I want to talk about that story.
It was Johnny LaHaye or something like that? Yeah.
Bud Soda. I'm not sure how often he puts his name out there, so Bud Soda. He could be in witness relocation or something. So
yeah, gotcha. All right. So here we go. Coming back on the radio side in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCradio.live. Sorry about that. Little technical problems there got us, but we're back on right here on TNCradio.live. Happy to have you with us on a Friday night Driver Nation. I'm Tom. He's Steve. He's Jesper. Did we lose Jesper?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know what happened either, but everything got kind of funky there for a couple of minutes, but hopefully Jesper will be getting back in here as well. So, Steve, we've got about 8 minutes before we get to the top of the hour. So tell me about some of the stories that you want to cover in our second hour tonight.
Well, we've got a few. We've got what I think Bud Soda was talking about, which is very important, the middle path for independent contractors. And already it's being, what was it? I was looking at it. It's already being called something along the lines of a hybrid model. I'll find the name here at the break. The FTC sending the warning to Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash. might be people have been seeing this for a few days, but we talked about it a couple times, but it's definitely worth talking about because they're even probing into Amazon now too, because of flex workers. They're going after everything. Uber, Lyft, there's a study done, and this was the weird thing is that this came from Market Watch, which kind of threw me a bit. But Uber, Lyft drivers net less than $7 an hour after California law passed. So they're talking about how what we've talked about, Tom, how Prop 22, which it was supposed to help drivers who do rideshare, not so much delivery. It's not helping any rideshare at all. It's only helping delivery. And it's not, it's, and they were supposed to be afforded those because of the TLC commission, Taxi Limousine Commission, to be the same rights as the taxi limousine. So that perk I understood for driving rideshare, but they're not seeing that because the normal, the normal pay for an active hour is going to take you over the 120% anyway. So
gotcha.
The people who are benefiting are Instacart shoppers and DoorDashers, Uber Eats, Grubhub.
Does California, excuse my ignorance, I just don't live out there. Does California do anything special for people who work mostly for tips, waiters, waitresses, those kinds of things?
Such as,
I don't know, make sure they get some minimum hourly, $20, they get $20 an hour, whether they got any tips or not. I don't know. What, do they?
So I don't know if, so this is hopefully I think we have enough time to talk about this. So, I have a ton of experience in that and here in Colorado, and for those that don't know, I know you guys know, there's a different hourly pay for service industry workers. And it's even different for servers or bartenders. Servers make about 40 cents more. I mean, let's say, and let's keep it low. Let's say that it's like $5, and I'm just going to keep to even dollars. It might not even be, or it wasn't this high when I used to do it, but I'm getting older. So let's say it's $5, $5 for a bartender. Let's say it's $6 for a waitress. Usually your credit card tips zero out your check. So you, at the end of if you've had a really good 2 weeks in the bar industry, you will get a check that says $0, but all your W-2 and everything's claimed and paid for. The payroll has been paid by the company. So all that's done. So they have this lower amount of minimum wage. Now, I know that when they tried to, Maine actually did this. Maine actually put in place a law that said that minimum wage had to be minimum wage for the state, not the $2.13 it was paying bartenders or whatever at the time. This is about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And they said, no, it has to be $10 or $8 an hour or whatever, which basically was putting everybody out of business in weeks. I'm not even talking long periods of time. If you were mom and pop, if you weren't Applebee's or something corporate, you were in court or you were fighting the state. And all of a sudden they had everybody at the state house saying, this ain't working. We can't afford to do this. And servers and stuff didn't want to take the jobs because it made it so that like a mom and pop bar that like gets high volume, great tips, the kind of place you work other places for 5 years, get your name known, get really good at bartending, then maybe you could work there. There was no reason anymore because nobody was tipping, or because you're basically being paid this horrible wage, which would wreck tips at a great place where you're often tipped.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense, but payroll going that high made it so that they could only have so many people on.
Right.
You're just having to raise the prices like they did. And actually where Jesper is in Michigan, like 2 years later, they were going to do the same thing. And you guys voted it down.
I just looked it up. It looks like right now minimum wage for service staffs is about $9.87.
That's probably, I wonder if that's because of the pandemic.
It could be. I mean, right now it's ridiculous. Everybody is looking for people.
Yeah, I mean,
before the pandemic, it was way lower.
Minimum wage.
Yeah. So in Colorado, it's going to raise up to $10.63. But again, I think this is I'm talking about, you guys, I'm talking about, 99 to 2006.
Right.
That was not the minimum wage.
But even how the restaurant handles tipping is different from a restaurant to restaurant. I remember I had, and this is the fun part thing, if you were, for me, when I was driving, almost, I would say 9 out of 10 times when I drove the wait staff home, I would always get cash tips. Like the people who know the value of the tip leaves a tip.
Yeah.
Right. And so they would. I took a waiter once from Applebee's, a local Applebee's out here. I believe that Applebee's is a franchise. I'm not 100% sure about that. But here, so this local here, it was ridiculous. The way they handled tipping was basically it was so weird. If you had, so this guy, he had a large party, right? A large party, like 15, 20 people in there, and they didn't tip. Okay. They didn't tip hardly, anything at all. So what ended up happening was they would tip they would pool all the tips for the whole restaurant. And then if you didn't have enough to pay into the pool, they would subtract it from your guy. It was like weird. He ended up having to pay that night because he didn't get any tips from this large party. It was really weird how he was explaining how they were handling tips at this particular restaurant. It was just, it was not right. I mean, he ended up having to pay some of his other tips into the pool because of how it was.
Yeah, because probably every tip he had that night was on credit card. Because I'm going to tell you guys something, and clearly I never ever did this, and I don't endorse it, but most people don't claim cash tips.
They don't? that seems illegal, Steve.
I think I've heard it. It might be. It might be.
But anyways, I was just
that. But I guess here's my point. Your buddy probably very much, and especially that night, needed no credit card tips, some cash tips. So at least he walked out of there with some cash and lost minimal. My guess is he got all his tips through credit card, and then he got screwed on that one. See, a good manager, I would have noticed something like that, and usually you get other people to throw in on it or whatever to help it out. I know there's places that do what I hate, which is group minimum percentage tips, groups of 8 or more. But
finish your thought.
Oh, but so there's a lot of times people come in, grab a server's table, but go up to the bar to get their drinks. That wrecks the server's table for hours.
Sure. All right. Hey, I got to take this out on the radio side. We're going to do the top of the hour news, all that kind of good stuff. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay tuned for more coming up. Second hour of Driver Nation on a Friday night. Stay tuned.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. My internet got killed for a second.
Yeah, all right. We had other issues too.
Yes, something happened to all of us at once. So not sure what it was.
Yeah, the sound went funky. We had a call in I know Bud Soda, and he got disconnected and won't call back. And one of the articles I want to talk about, I think he was talking about, because as I was coming back in, I heard Stefanik, and I know Bud Soda's up in Fort Drum, New York, or what is the town there? It's not that Fort Drum, but it's Fort Drum is Waterton. Is that right? Is Waterton in northern New York State?
Sure.
Yeah, it is. But he's from Waterton, and call back, because I think you're talking about your rep Stefanik, and I think I heard it, and I know that he knows some stuff about that. So otherwise, you're going to miss out, Bud Soda, because I'm going to talk about it anyway. In fact, I'm kind of getting that straight here right now, but wait, I'm trying to get back in this part about if these guys knew about. Okay, so Rodney, was that service industry, and was it like was that bartender hour? Because I see that so I see that Heidi put minimum wage in California is $15 an hour. Well, California minimum wage varies where you live. I know there's $16 an hour. I know it's 19 and change in San Francisco, because 120% is $24 that the gig companies have to pay you. So I know that.
But I mean,
that varies. But at the same time, if you're getting 50, here's how I always viewed this: if you're getting 15 an hour, you're hiring it at a place you're not going to get tips. You're hiring it at an Applebee's or somewhere where you're just kind of making drinks for servers and nobody's really tipping you out. I would rather be paid that lowest wage by an indie restaurant or bar that's hopping.
I mean, I've heard people say they would easily make $30, $40, $50 an hour in the big hours. Not every hour, of course. But yeah, those like evening hours, they could make good money.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Texas, that rate, just looked it up, is $2.13 per hour.
See, there you go. That's what it used to be. I think that's what it was here. I think actually that's what it was in 2001. I remember, because I actually, for a short time, I was in charge of our payroll on top of being the AGM at the time. And I literally hated payroll. It was this in between time. And I think it was $3.15 an hour for servers and $2.13 an hour for bartenders.
It was $2.13 for servers in Texas. And here's the thing: you get $5.12 on top of that. And if the tips cover it, great. If not, then the employer has to cover it. So in other words, if your tips cover, let's say you work 10 hours and you make $512 in tips, then you're covered. And then you
right.
know anything else.
Yep.
On the other hand, if you work 10 hours and you only made $213, then the employer has to cover the difference that's there.
Right. And so that's why, I think because we have something like that a little bit here too. I don't know how the numbers have changed because of the pandemic. Everybody's willing to pay you $50 an hour just to walk in the door and work. So I don't know. But back before pre-pandemic, there was a situation like that. It kind of, what it did was, what I saw anyway in the restaurant industry was that if you were always giving somebody day shifts, or like if a manager got sick of a server and just didn't want to fire him, because it always can hurt you so bad if you have to put up people on unemployment and this and that and the company, especially if you're small, that you want to get people to quit. And usually in the bar industry, people will just quit. It's usually a mutual thing. Like, I'm done. Yeah, you're done. Get out. Yeah, I'm out. But like, if you wouldn't quit, it used to be a trick to give them all like one shift a week in the day on a Monday. But if they keep doing that and they don't get any tips, then they actually had to pay them a lot, not a lot, but they had to pay them money to just sit there. So it became like don't screw around, just fire them if they need to go. I don't know. I think that I guess what I think about all this though is I think it's weird that they have that determined, like, hey, $2.13 an hour is fair. And I'll tell you what, I'll take that. Even if it's $9, or like JJ said here in Colorado, okay, she said it's going to be $10.63 in Colorado. Okay, I know a lot of bars that, let's say they're semi-volume, and let's say they were doing $10.63. I know a lot of
coming back here in 10 seconds. Let me bring us in and we'll keep going on the conversation in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCradio.live on a Friday night. This is Driver Nation. I'm Tom. He's Steve. And that guy over there, that's Jesper. Happy to have you all with us here this evening. We're simulcasting on Steve's YouTube channel at Rideshare Rodeo. So if you're sitting at home, you want to see us and look at our faces. I don't know why you'd want to, but look at us. You feel free to do that. If you're out driving, of course, always do the safe thing. And, you can listen to us over your car speakers or anything. We're available on over 4,000 devices, guys. I even got us set up now on Roku TVs. So, you can hear us 24/7 on TNCradio.live. But on Friday nights, we turn everything over to the discussion around the gig economy. And that's why I have Steve and Jesper here. And this is our 1-year anniversary. We've been on the air for a year as of tonight, roughly. And we hardly missed a show in the last year, unless it was a pretty serious event, but
we hardly missed a show.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I'm not quite as old as you are. I'm not quite a year yet. I'm like
just saying
8
Tom
months.
and I
right.
hardly missed a year.
I'm only about 8 months in.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So yeah, Bud, give us a call back in. We'd love to have you back in.
Mm-hmm.
Or anybody can give us a call at 706-862-8620, 706-862-8620. Use the one button calling when calling from the app. Just press call us down at the bottom and click on TNC Radio, and we'll put you right on the air and talk to you. So let's bring him right back in here. All right, Bud Soda, are you with us?
Yeah. Hey.
Right. Hey. Great to have you back with us. All right.
I was trying to conceal your name there, buddy.
I got it. I got the message. Bud Soda, tell us. You were making a point before, and then everything went to hell in a handbasket, technology-wise. So start over and tell us what you were saying.
So I'm sure you heard of the legislation. Like, she's one of the main sponsors by Stefanik.
Yeah. Okay. This is what I thought. Yeah.
For the first time, because of that, it's actually more pro-trucker, but gig work and 1099 independent contracting as a whole is going to be protected under this, and it's kind of a right to work nationwide.
If it passes. Here, let's start this story, because we're jumping. This is like a Tarantino movie, but sort of just three in the middle where somebody's getting killed. And then we're going to go back to the beginning, or go to the end, then the beginning.
Right.
Let me just start from the beginning here. So it's. I've also read some other articles about, and here's the title from The Hill on this one, is it's time to chart middle path for independent workers. And so there's been talk and names of like independent contractor, hybrid, and stuff being thrown around now about this middle ground and how that could look. And so what's going on is so basically here's the United States is currently experiencing a historically tight labor market with millions of open employment opportunities across the economy. There are simply more jobs within retail, manufacturing, logistics, and more than those interested in engaging in traditional work, whereby workers are tied to a version of a 40-hour work week with set benefits. Independent work, on the other hand, has never been more popular. At a time when workers of all types have maximum choice to choose the various conditions of their working relationships, many are choosing independent work relationships. Okay, we know all this. Here was one thing I found very interesting. I already know it. I'm just always glad to see it printed. And it's we know from poll after poll, most individuals who engage in the independent work do so of their own free will and are satisfied with this relationship. Okay, so that's a big thing. So then it moves on to say legislation like AB 5 in California is a great example of a policy that is hindering the ability of individuals from participating in a rapidly modernizing economy where flexibility is being offered. The law seeks to classify most, if not all, workers as employees, regardless of their stated desires. And everyone has witnessed the negativities surrounding the bill since its inception. There have been over 100 exemptions from AB 5, which they don't say it here, but guys, that's the 100 exemptions plus is why there were more exemptions than there were pages to the bill, so they rewrote it and called it AB 2257. So the 100 exemptions from AB 5, a successful Prop 22 campaign, which saw voters reject the law by nearly a 2-to-1 margin. It was over 3 million votes. And for California, that says a lot to vote with the Giants. And recent protests from truckers who are angry about what the new employment classification means. During the pandemic, they were told, hey, we're not going to put you in the carve-outs, but you're carved out. And then just the other couple of months ago, they ripped the rug out from under them and said, no, you're screwed. You're independent. Well, there's been the PRO Act that we've talked about and people have stopped worrying about it as much right now anyway. Nothing's going to get kicked through before an election. Not something of that size that would affect even right to work states. However, here is the takeaway. Fortunately, there is a better way forward. The Worker Flexibility and Choice Act, which is the WFCA. It's the polar opposite of the PRO Act. Representatives, who's your Democrat from Texas? Henry, is it Cuellar?
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Okay. Him, Stefanik from New York, who Bud Soda's talking about, and Michelle Steele, Republican from California, introduced the WFCA as a first of its kind bipartisan approach to protecting individuals' ability to opt into the employment relationship that works best for them, whether that be independent contractors, freelancers, and gig workers. Their approach charts a middle path between the status quo, which limits support and protections for independent workers, and radical efforts like AB5 and the PRO Act, which polarizes workers' preferences. Specifically, the WFCA guarantees individuals' rights to accept and reject work opportunities and pursue opportunities with multiple entities, while at the same time ensuring a knowing and voluntary work relationship is forged with other business entities. So to me, this sounds great. It's solidifying what we already have in the country as law. It's just making sure that, hey, if we see all you guys like looking at this law from every angle in every state, enough. Let's
how is that going to work?
What do you mean?
So people just going to choose?
Well, that's the counter offer. The PRO Act is you're going to be working for a union.
Right.
Period. No more exceptions. No, I'm not, though. I'm going to be independent. No, you're not. Self-employed, independent. It doesn't even matter. If this isn't gig work. This isn't anything. You're going to work for a company. You're going to be paid by a union. And there's a lot out this week, by the way, on uberlyftdrivers.com, guys, that I put up where the PRO Act and a lot of the states being passed are very hard specific right now, saying you can only work for one gig company. Like Massachusetts is only going to let you work for one. So that's going to kill you right there.
I didn't realize that was part of their whole thing.
Well, also, let's be honest, Massachusetts allowed $7 million from what is being called I know that a lot of the YouTube audience will appreciate this. It's called the Flex Association. We all know Mr. Flex. It's called the Flex Association, which is Uber, Lyft, Instacart, Grubhub, DoorDash. They are now called the Flex Association. And yeah, I mean, they're just... And when they put in the $7 million to fight the same thing as California, same playbook. You know, AB5 passed. They started raising money for Prop 22. They raised $208 million. They fought it. They won in a state where something like that would normally never win, that was supported by big companies like that. In Massachusetts, they did the same thing, AB5, and they started raising money, $7 million. They'd put it out. It was on the ballot. It's already had a lot of commercials, everything. And then they said, you know what? We're not going to allow the proposition vote. So now that's why they're going to be the most unique state come January 1st, 2023. They will instantly go into effect without allowing people in November you have to be under AB5 rule, and gig will get no exception. So you will have to be unionized immediately, and you will have to apply for your job. I read that too. You will have to apply for the job. If you want to stay on with Uber, you can work for Uber, but then you can work for no other gig companies, and you have to apply for your job.
But one of that's just
my thing is they're going to leave, and I'm glad. I think all the gig companies should leave, because if they don't, every state's going to do this.
Right.
Well, and exactly, because the powers of this is that you drive for who you want to drive for, and different times of the day, different areas where you are, it's going to be a different company that are more valuable.
Yeah. Well,
that's half the battle in being successful is knowing who to pick to drive for when.
It's not either side necessarily politically, but everybody, both sides, way too many people have their hands in unions. And it's almost, I think of it like the cigarette company, how I used to view the cigarette companies putting their money into politics. I just view it as like, there should be no anything allowed to have association with unions politically.
But I mean, let's think about it this way.
You could still be pro-union, but you shouldn't be able to take funds, and that kind of stuff is not okay.
But again, I mean, I understand why, right? But I'm still going to ask the question: why do we want this? Why does anybody want this?
Yep.
Because unions.
But they want to make more money, right?
Yeah.
But they don't want to do the work. I'm sorry. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm not trying
right. No.
to throw under the bus. But we all know that you can be successful driving Uber and rideshare. You just got to do the work. You got to treat it as a job.
And even that, like my big fight with AB5, a lot of people overlook this a lot, and they always think, "Oh, you're against Prop 22." That's not my main thing. My main thing is being against AB5. The gig economy got a lucky exemption. Millions of people are destroyed in California,
right.
And if you don't think that's true, I have lists of things I can post.
Oh, sure.
Lists. I mean, I'll post some in a minute when we go to commercial break. I'm going to actually post some into the comments here tonight, like stories of people affected by AB5, and they're forever long. They're blog rolls that just go on and on.
Sure.
Industries that are not exempt. You know, we've got 608 things. I've got a list. We can put it up and after the commercial and go through it. There's a list of 608 things you cannot be in California as an independent.
Well,
interesting.
No.
I mean, the thing is, and here, this is what I mean this 100%. California is fighting a losing battle because it's changing. The way people want to work is changing, period. And this is
the system just
crazy.
wants everybody unionized, W-2.
But union, I mean, again, okay, and this may be very unpopular. I think in a lot of cases, unions has run its course. I'm sorry.
You can't get no fight here, man.
They were there for a reason, and they had a reason, right? It's the same thing, and I hate to say this, but in Denmark, they're a coffee club, right? I mean, come on. They're fighting for the 6th week of vacation. They're fighting for the 37.5 hours of work week. Come on.
Here's one thing that gets overlooked sometimes. If they go on strike, you don't have a choice.
No,
you don't get to work.
No,
it takes away. It actually, and it takes away your rights. If anything, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jesper's a perfect example. Like, don't you come here because this is the land of freedom where you can start a business and do what you want? Or wasn't that the selling point, at least, or one of them?
I came here because of the woman, right? That's always the right way of coming over here. But
right.
But I mean, I like the idea of I've always felt it was a lot easier to be an entrepreneur in America because there's not so much red tape, right? As there is in Denmark. But I don't know. I feel that in a lot of countries, a lot of Western countries, the unions have run their course. They certainly had they had a time where they were very valuable, and they were needed because people was obviously taking advantage of workers, and I think there probably still some cases of that today. I'm not going to say no to that, right. But in a lot of cases, I think they were there. They kind of, I don't know. I mean, the other side of it, if there was no unions, is it going to go back to what it was? I don't know.
Well, the other thing about unions, and I mean, to those who have never worked in a union or are not that familiar, just remember you're still losing all your taxes, but now you're losing your union dues too, and they're not small.
No,
union dues are very large. They take a big cut of your money. So, I mean.
But they say they're worth it, right? Because you're gonna get, because of the union, you're gonna get that much more paid or whatever it is. I don't know.
I'd rather have my hand in 10 cookie jars so that I'm not reliant on one, be able to earn how I want, than have a union delegate that I pay who does nothing.
But here's the thing, though, Steve. Here's the thing. You are also not the person to just sit back and do what you're told.
No.
And there's a lot of people. I mean, I hate to say this. A lot of people in the workforce, that's what they want to do. They want to go to work. They want to be told what to do. They want to do it, and they want to go home.
Right, but I wonder, would those so of those people though, even wouldn't a big percentage of those people rather have, like, okay, put it simply, wouldn't you rather have $3 more an hour and not pay that union fee? Yeah, because that union fee has never done anything. I don't even know what it does for me.
But
That's what they'd say.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to stop right there. And when we come back, we'll talk about something other than AB 5 law.
please.
I want to be. I did it last night too, and
So we'll find something else. We'll be
Yes.
back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay right there.
Yeah, sorry about that. Unions gets me fired up.
Me too. And the reason that I did bring it up is because, and I want to say this now to the other side of here on YouTube, that is because we are a month out from the midterms. So I said this last night as well. I'm not going to keep harping on this on everything, but since we got into it a little bit tonight, and I'll put it to sleep after this. But we're a month out, you guys. Make sure that you are aware of your state. Like, if you're in Massachusetts, do whatever you can to fight that thing. If you're up in Washington State, even though they're passing it, start looking for the fighting legislation. I don't know. Be aware and vote. I don't even care if you vote for things I don't agree with. Just vote.
I promise you one thing, Steve. I won't vote at all. There you go. See, you can't blame me.
No. Well,
see,
that's the problem. Is if you don't vote.
But see,
we can blame you.
The thing is, no, you can't blame me because I have
no, not you.
I have taxation without representation. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but that's my own fault.
Yeah. I'm just saying that if you have the right to vote and you don't, and then your state goes to a Prop 22 AB 5, don't complain.
You got to be part of you got to be part of the solution, right? You can't just sit back and be part of the problem.
And just don't. I was saying this last night. Don't say there's no way my one vote doesn't count. I hear it a lot, and I just hate that. I hate that.
Well, it's the old story, and it's the old story about. Have you ever heard about the story of the starfish? Right. So a guy walks along the beach, right, and there's all these starfish beached up on the sand, right, and there's so many of them. And he goes, he bends down, he picks up one, he throws back in the water, right? And the one guy said, "Why are you doing this? You can't save them all." So no, but I made a difference to that one, right? And so that's the thing. The same with your vote. It is going to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It will.
I agree.
But I can't vote. So. Did you know that you can't even vote in Denmark if you don't live in the country more 3 months out of the year?
Really?
You have, huh?
That's a good rule.
I know. It makes sense. But again, I just don't vote. and then I say, don't blame me. So no, it's okay. I'm actually looking into applying for citizenship. So now that Denmark is allowing for dual citizenship, so
you don't get it for being married?
No, doesn't. It's not an automatic thing in America. No, you have to apply for citizenship, and then you gotta do the whole. I gotta go through like a big history test most American citizens wouldn't know to pass.
Yeah.
It's pretty cruel. But yeah, it used to be that Denmark would force you to give up your Danish citizenship to become a different citizen.
Mm-hmm.
But they gave up that 6 years ago. So
yeah,
so good.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing for 6 years waiting for that?
And, it's just an excuse.
Okay. Yeah.
It's never been high on my totem pole.
Gotcha.
But it should be. I mean, realistically, I should vote in the country where my kids are growing up, right? So that's the real reason why I'm beginning to look into it. But I mean, honestly, this history test scares me a little bit, Tom. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna lie.
What does the history test?
Yeah, to become an American citizen, you got to take this history test that I've been told most American citizens wouldn't know how to pass that test today.
Yeah, check out I think he calls himself the history guy.
Okay.
Here on YouTube. Oh my gosh, he is so awesome. He's got such great stuff. Any subject, he's talked about it. It's good stuff. I'll figure out who he is exactly and let you know.
Yeah, but no, I gotta look into it. Get that. Do you guys, any of you guys, enjoy?
Hold on, back in 10 seconds. So here we go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCradio.live. Happy to have you all with us here on a Friday night. Friday nights, it's Driver Nation. That means we're talking all things around the gig economy. And I'm Tom. I'm here with Steve and Jesper. And guys, what's next on the agenda here?
Let's throw Instacart under the bus for a minute.
Well, that's new. And then we can talk about robots.
That sounds fun.
Actually, it's about robots.
Great. Instacart robots.
Instacart streamlines in-store and online offerings for grocers. So here's the takeaways. Instacart will now offer new technology to its grocery store partners as part of its new connected store effort. The program is meant to help retailers marry their online stores with their in-store experiences. New features include an updated Caper Cart. Yes, that's right, folks, a Caper Cart. Caper Cart is an electronic shelf that labels out alerts of out of stock. So here's what it is. It's AI from Instacart autonomous testing where they're not able to get the cart down the aisle, but we're going to have flying cars. What do you think?
Why wouldn't they be able to get the car down the aisle?
I don't know. The remote control is broken. I have no idea what's up with these guys and their testing, dude. I mean, no, it's working. They're like making the cart bigger, but it does have issues. I mean, so here it is, the new Caper Cart. Here's the description. The new Caper Cart is an updated product from Instacart, built from its 2021 purpose of the smart cart.
You don't like it?
Sorry, hold on, I'm not done. It's an AI-powered shopping cart that includes scales, sensors, touch screens. Instacart says these carts are slimmer and lighter than their predecessors and have 65% more capacity. They allow consumers to place items in the cart without scanning them. Grocers also can now stack the carts and charge batches to them at once. Okay, so they're going for cart technology, and
but you left out an important piece there, Steve.
What?
They still have one wheel that goes
right.
Yeah.
Well, also these things are going to be very expensive. But here's the thing: they're going for cart technology when there is now just walk out the door technology, and it'll add it all up for you.
Well, exactly.
So,
That's what I was just thinking. Why?
Again, you guys are creating dinosaurs, and we're in a different century.
Well, and let me ask you this: whatever happened to RFID?
I know.
Why? I mean, perfectly good technology that it wasn't allowed to kind of break through. I mean, anyway,
I don't know.
They hacked that in 15 minutes.
You know, I saw that. I saw 5 things. There was a list of 5 things that that will never leave us from that revived from the dead from the pandemic. And oddly, the second one in there, number 2, was QR codes. That they were completely dead. Nobody used them, and now they will never be gone again because they're what's used for menus.
Oh, there you go. That's true. And honestly, most of the restaurants we go to now, they have those menus at the tables, right? And then
Yeah.
that's how you ordered. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
that was that's interesting.
But if you had asked somebody a year before the pandemic, they'd have said QR codes. And who uses those anymore? I don't know.
Right.
But
It-
now it's like everybody uses QR code. You can buy concert tickets through QR codes and everything.
Right, but it's for that time. I mean, it definitely found they found its lane, right? Back when they came out with it, they were trying to use QR code for everything, right?
Right.
Everybody needed a QR. You wanted a QR code on your business card for whatever reason, I don't know, but that's what people were doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. So it has its lane. Oh, there. I'm sorry, Tom.
You know what I used to think was what was hilarious
Well, you
to
have
me?
an app at least, Tom. You have an app, so I get that.
The first time I ever saw a QR code was in Boulder up on the hill by a concert venue, and it had QR codes at the bottom of every band that was playing. And I was like, I can just take a picture of the poster. The QR code gave me all the information on the poster. A picture of the poster reminded me of what I would be going to. I was like,
Right.
this is stupid, dude. Why would I do
But-
that?
But the QR code had more information stored in it, right? That's the thing. So it has,
I mean, when I would do it, I'd get the same information as I would from the poster.
right. I mean, it actually.
I think it was their way of saying, yeah, but you can if you do this, you can take the poster home with you and read about it. I'm like, I can take a picture and take it home with me.
It reminds me of. Do you guys remember the old barcode trials with Radio Shack? So back in the days, this was back before the days of even like real internet shopping or whatever. When barcodes was big, Radio Shack came out with a catalog where you could buy through their catalog using they had these barcode scanners that they would give away for free, right? So you get a catalog and a barcode scanner, you hook it up to your computer, and you could scan. And you would sit there and you could buy that way, right? What they forgot to tell you was that they were of course storing all that information as to what people were buying, and then they were selling that information. So pretty quickly, huge lawsuit. They ended up having to get rid of all that, but it was the same thing, right? It was the ease of being able to sell stuff on buy things using catalogs, right? But it was just same thing. It went from barcodes to QR codes, and and then what is next? Yeah,
Right.
Neo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's crazy. I still think that they should go the technology of just remove the. I mean, what the Amazon stores are doing now. Do you guys lose me?
Nope. Go for it.
I think you should do the technology Amazon's local stores are doing now, with just remove the cash registers altogether, and then go and you pick them up and they just charge you, right? So
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm looking for some notes
Oh,
here
Steve is
that I
looking for something.
had. Yeah, no, if you're looking at me, I'm looking for something that
I was
really
gonna
wanted
say,
to share.
can you not hear us or what's going on? So anyway,
Okay,
but
there we go. No,
they have a couple of test stores of that. What do they have? A couple in New York and stuff like that. And I think they're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
The Amazon.
I mean, the
stores.
ones in Seattle are pretty much bulletproof. I mean, I think they're like, I hate saying this. You guys know how I feel about robots, but I think that they do better. They're proving to do better. And of course, there's going to be areas of AI where this happens, but they're proving to be better than like people doing it, and even like stolen stuff. And it's just working out better. But again, it's a very small run thing. It's only, you have to be selected to be involved in it. And it's not like anybody can just go in and rush the store at once. And,
okay.
I think they keep it to a certain amount of people and all this stuff, but still they're getting beyond the testing phase. And,
right.
I mean, that's pretty big,
I mean, I heard that the amount of money they save by not having people way outdoes the amount of money they lose on extra after theft. So they just accept that
Right.
they're gonna be some theft, and okay, whatever.
Well, plus you get to get rid of a bunch of W-2 employees too.
Yeah.
The elimination of humans. This is how it begins, guys.
Well, this is how it. This is a. I hate to say, but this is evolution, right? Evolution of the workplace, and the tasks that we are going to be, having to do 5, 10, 20 years from now.
Well, yeah, and I'm just looking forward to Skynet coming online. That's going to solve a lot of problems.
Now, is Steve old enough to know what Skynet is?
You know,
I'm older than you, man.
Oh, okay. Do you know what Skynet is,
I'm
Steve?
old. Yeah.
So then,
hey,
when
Tom,
is
I just put a link in the private chat.
All right.
When is the first Terminator going to be here? Then that's what I want to know.
I don't know. They've already done 4 remakes?
No, I mean the
2
real
remakes.
Terminator.
Right, I know. There was 1, 2, and 3, and then they made it a remake of 1, and then I don't know. I think they're still figuring it out too. It's like the Matrix. When's that coming? When can I be offered the pills?
Do you think people would take the blue pill?
I have a new answer. I would take them both. See what happened.
I didn't think that was an option. You're just generally a greedy person, Steve. Is that what's going on?
I wouldn't buy it. And if it was like a must and that kind of scene like it was, you must do this or this, which do you want? I'd be like, give me those.
All right. So you want me to play this out, Steve?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I think it's worth listening to.
All right. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Your skateboarding skills aren't what they used to be.
All
right, still got this. Here comes the kickflip McTwin. Oh.
Luckily, Ambetter Health Insurance knows great coverage and has plans that fit any budget. From low monthly premiums to a great network of doctors in your area, we're on a mission to help everyone find affordable coverage that always sticks the landing. Get ready for open enrollment today. Tap to learn more at getknowambetter.com. Ambetter from Superior Health Plan is insured by Celtic Insurance Company. This is a solicitation for insurance.
Sorry.
That's right.
I couldn't get it to stop.
Was a man charged $70,000 after exploiting a DoorDash glitch. Claim. A man was charged more than $70,000 by DoorDash after the company fixed a payment glitch that he had previously exploited to place free orders. Rating. As of our initial writing, evidence leaned toward the video being fake. Before we establish a more firm fact-check rating, we are reaching out to DoorDash with several questions. We are also contacting other users who claimed to order pricey items on July 7, 2022, the night that the company experienced a genuine payment glitch, to find out if those customers were ever eventually charged. On September 21, 2022, Reddit users upvoted to the front page of the website a thread that claimed a man was charged well over $70,000 after he had repeatedly exploited a DoorDash glitch that allowed him to place orders for free. The thread was titled, "That's What Happens When You Exploit a Glitch." However, there's quite a bit of data that calls this story into question. The Reddit post showed a video that came from the @imdrip Instagram account, which read, "He spent over $70,000 when there was a DoorDash glitch and they finally charged him," person facepalming loudly crying face. The video appeared to have originally been posted by TikTok user @mustardpregnancy on September 9. In the video, the man is shown purportedly scrolling his Chase Bank checking account in the Chase mobile banking app, apparently in disbelief at having an account balance of -$73,410.63. Some commenters on Reddit, Instagram, and TikTok all believe the video to be real. However, the scales tip heavily toward it being fake. First, though, it's important to note that DoorDash really did once have to fix a glitch that allowed its users to order items for free. According to Lamaji.com, the glitch occurred on the night of July 7, 2022. In a statement, the company said it had experienced a payment processing issue that allowed users to place orders without a payment method for a short period. The exploit, which appeared to last less than 24 hours, resulted in a flurry of pricey purchases as well as pictures posted to social media to document what certainly must have been a busy night for delivery drivers. Before the glitch was fixed, DoorDash users claimed to have successfully placed orders for bulk purchases of alcohol and food from McDonald's, wings, contraceptives, television sets, and more. We're contacting several of these users to find out if they were eventually charged, and we'll update this story if we receive responses. Let's turn our attention back to the TikTok video in question. First, all of the charges on the phone appeared to show a date of July 15th, which closely lined up with the glitch having occurred just 8 days earlier. According to our tests with the Chase app, when the man began to scroll to look at the charges, 3 components continued to move when they should instead have locked into place at the top of the screen. Those components were the tiny back button, which is shaped like a left arrow icon, the words Chase Checkings, 3020, and the profile icon. Those 3 items continued to scroll out of view, which suggested that the man was looking at a long, vertical picture that resembled the app, perhaps with altered dollar figures for nothing more than a social media prank. On the day after posting the viral video, @Mustard Pregnancy claimed in a new and apparently related comedic clip that he was unable to pay his electric bill. The video was recorded with the lights off while he used his vape pen as a light source. However, we noticed that the lights were on in subsequent videos, wherever it was that those were recorded. Other videos created by the same user included the man supposedly showing his mother the bank statement, looking up how much money he could earn by selling his testicles, and dramatically acting upset on a couch. Also, @Mustard Pregnancy is a content creator. At least 3 other videos showed the same person acting like a police officer in comedy sketches, one of which was recorded in the same house scene in another video. A Reddit commenter claimed, "Went to school with him, he's a content creator, it's not real," face with tears of joy. In sum, there's a lot of evidence that called into question the idea that the man in the video truly was charged more than $70,000 by DoorDash after exploiting the company's payment glitch. We've reached out to the TikTok user and the company with several questions, and will update this story with a more firm fact-check rating in due time. For now, this claim has been rated as research in progress.
All right.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
Looking for a date more interesting than...
All right.
They left out one of my favorite lines of the article. I don't know why there was a couple left out, but so there's one in here that says, when they're talking about the other people that were getting away with free stuff, this one guy for a minute was getting away with free stuff, and this person admitted to this because the company thought that, well, this is an error, something's wrong here. So the guy had gotten $720 worth of free contraceptives, and they're like, "We know it's a glitch," and it was like, "No, it wasn't. I actually bought this."
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out how many that probably is, and I mean, I'm sure that's a long supply, and probably they go bad.
What do you think? Yeah.
I don't know. I just found that funny.
Jesper's still carrying around the same condom he bought when he was 16 years old. So that's,
Hey, Tom, we discussed that. You're not supposed to mention that online.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, I know that we're going to do that last commercial break here in a few minutes, but before we do go to it, this kind of just ties into what I did want to mention about the FTC, because if you didn't see the any of the articles, the Federal Trade Commission announced on Thursday that it plans to crack down on exploitation of gig workers, whom the agency said are entitled to protections regardless of their worker classification. They will be looking into all of the books and how every worker has been paid on the gig platforms.
The FTC is so far out of bounds on so many things right now. They're going to slap down so hard. Go for it. Whatever.
It further says the commission adopted a policy statement that details issues gig workers face, including deceptive claims that their wages and hours, unfair contract terms, and more, and what the FTC plans to do about it. Though the commission did not mention any of the companies by name, the message is clear. It plans to go after gig work mainstays like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart, and more. And for and hold them accountable for the promises they make to potential workers and how they treat ride-hailing drivers and delivery workers who use the platform. I'm sorry, I don't agree with any of that. These platforms have been lifesavers to me. They've been awesome. If I don't like one, I don't use it. I have a brain. I know how to go, that wasn't worth it. I don't like this. I'm not going to do it again.
Right.
End of story. I don't need to hear this is just junk.
Okay. Hey, we do need to take that break, and we're going to come back, wrap everything up. You're listening to TNCradio.live Friday night. Driver Nation, stay tuned. I've always taken exception to people who treat me like I'm stupid. And the FTC, I mean, these arrogant, this whole thing is just absolute joke.
I know.
But isn't it just them defending that this needs to be controlled? They're trying to control something that can't be controlled.
The FTC is always overstep, but now I feel like they're taking the woke culture and just abusing the crap out of it.
Absolutely, they are.
I mean, like you guys watch the show The Office. Nowhere on TV, not Comedy Central, who can play every episode of South Park, okay? Which is way, way awesome, but way, way wrong. So God bless South Park, but it's not right. You shouldn't agree with that stuff. But you can't play season 1, episode 2 of The Office because it I can't remember what it was, the 6th season or the 6 episode season, pilot season. Episode 2 was like the racial training thing or whatever seminar that had to be done, and they all had to hold cards up against their head and guess what race they were or whatever. And now that can't be played anywhere on TV. You cannot watch that anymore. And they're starting to take out the swears, but right after they do these modified offices on Comedy Central, they play South Park unedited. Completely everything that South Park's ever done.
But South Park is an animation. It's different, Steve.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
I mean, I just don't get where the FTC, like, where that falls. I mean, it's the same channel. It's the next thing that follows what you guys are monitoring and you shouldn't be touching because it's just funny to people. If it's like we've said this before, it's like a comedy club. If you don't want to get offended, don't go to a comedy club because their point of comedians is to make sure they offend everybody there. A good comedian will offend everybody. Not just pick on one or the other, but he will offend everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
So don't go. I mean, we've seen it lately. I don't know if you guys have seen these on YouTube, but there's comedy clubs like the Cellar in New York, very popular one to come up in, where people are running up on stage to punch and tackle and hit people who are telling jokes they don't like. It's like, why are you in that club?
Yeah, you shouldn't be there.
Go to church or something. I don't know what you do, but go there. Don't go to a comedy club and be like, if they talk about this, I'm going to hit them, because they're going to talk about it.
Honestly, guys, I've never seen an episode of The Office or South Park.
Oh, God. Do you not get Comedy Central in Texas, or?
I just watch other stuff. Never seen it. I mean, I know what they both are, and I've seen clips and stuff, but I've never seen it.
South Park really is a deeper show to love. Like the stories behind it are pretty intense. I know the animation's junk. Even some of the just the amount of fart jokes, that kind of stuff, goes a little too far. But the bottom line is South Park has some pretty radical thinking going.
I don't know what they're saying.
It's all about the storytelling.
It's commotion. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Sorry. Not for my age group.
They've just taken on a lot of things where you don't see other people. Like they've taken, what's the Tom Cruise club where you give them all your money? Scientology.
Yeah.
Like they've taken on Scientology to a point where nobody would ever do this, because if you've ever watched any of the specials on Scientology, they actually will come after you, your family, all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And South Park went to town on Scientology. I mean, that's one of my favorite episodes. I love it. They got Tom Cruise and John Travolta come out of the closet. The whole thing's hilarious, man.
I wrote a thesis once on Scientology, and you go into, this was in the Scientology, the Church of Scientology in Copenhagen, right? You walk into this office, and the first.
Let me bring it back in here. 10 seconds, and then we're gonna. I'll bring you right back to that. All right, and 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCradio.live, Friday Night Driver Nation. I'm Tom. He's Jesper. He's Steve. And Jesper, you were just starting to tell us something about Scientology in Copenhagen.
Well, so yeah, I wrote a thesis in school once on Scientology, and we visited for this, we visited the Church of Scientology in Copenhagen, and you walk into this front office and you see this giant book of walls of books. There was probably between 400 and 500 books, and they were all supposedly written by L. Ron Hubbard, right? It was just, I mean, he was this genius, whatever, but it's like, yeah, that never happened.
I don't know if you guys have ever watched the it's like a 5-part miniseries. It's on Netflix now on Scientology, and it has I can't remember her name.
Lisa Remy.
Yeah, or Leah Reming or whatever her name is. So it's something you might go, I'm not going to watch that, but it is worth watching. I mean, I didn't even know how deep they went into your life. Like if you try and screw around once you're in,
oh yeah.
First of all, they get to all your money immediately. And I'm always, every time I thought about it before I watched this, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, get to mine. You know what I mean? Like, but then I watched this and how people do get sucked in. And if you do try and screw with them, they literally have ways of fixing it, making you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're not legal ways, of course, but they always have things over you to the degree you would never think somebody would ever say these things to you.
Right.
No, it's not that a nice religion, if you will.
No.
They don't claim it's a religion.
No, I know. It's what do they call themselves?
Spaceship ticket holders.
I like that. All
right.
I like the Tom Cruise Club.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise Club. There you go.
There you go. All right, guys. Jesper, let's start with you. First of all, how'd the picnic go last week?
It went pretty well. We had not quite as many people as you wanted, but it went well, and it was nice, good turnout, and a good time. Good time was had.
Good.
We had people coming in from out 2 other states, and so we were lots of good people.
Fantastic. Glad to hear that. And how can people hear more about you in the Gig Economy podcast?
You go to gigeconomyshow.com.
Okay, and where's the dash?
It's gone right there. Per your recommendation, Tom, we got rid of the dash.
All right,
so
good.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So gigeconomyshow.com, gigeconomyshow.com. You're curious about it? Well, stay tuned. We'll play an episode of that. I forget whether it's next or the next hour, but we'll play one of those episodes here in just a few minutes so you can get a chance to find out what all the Gig Economy Show is all about. And that brings us to Rideshare Rodeo. And Steve, tell us about Rideshare Rodeo.
Yep. So podcast's been going on for years. uberliftdrivers.com for news. Got the YouTube channel going. I got a lot. Yeah, actually this time I don't always, but you can find everything at uberliftdrivers.com. You can find the podcast, or you can find it on any player. But I do have a couple things for this week to announce because they're big ones.
Okay.
I got my so Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, I will be on YouTube live interviewing Stephanie Vigil, who's running for the Colorado House of Representatives seat, and she is a gig worker. She would be the first gig worker in Colorado, and I think the first maybe in the country to hold a elected position like that. She is in a very heavily, she thinks she has a favor on this. I'm going to be talking with her live, and we're going to be talking about what she would want for gig workers. So I really want everybody to come into the live and throw out your questions and see what kind of things we bring up, because some of this stuff we talk about, now you can hear it from somebody else who's running.
Sure.
Also, on Tuesday at 7 p.m. is the fourth of the series of para roundtables I'm doing. These have been getting tremendous views and tons of feedback. This one is staying motivated and coping with stress. Our lineup is Pedro, DoorDash Santiago, Hannibal is Hungry, Kim's Side Money Plans, Dashing with Ash in Canada, and John McCallion, and David and myself from Para. And then yeah, those were the two main things. I mean, the rest of my week is the rest of my week. Thursday we got the roundtable. Friday we're back on Driver Nation, all that kind of stuff. And 13 minutes of news on Saturday, and Sunday is Sunday Fun Day.
All right,
lots going on.
Lots going on. Lots of good stuff going on. Of course, right here on TNCradio.live, we got a lot going on too on Saturday mornings. You know, for a lot of people, Saturday mornings are all about going fishing, playing golf, working on your car, which works out real well because our Saturday morning programming is about fishing, working on your car, playing golf. So you can check out all of that. Sunday mornings for those who are out driving and would like to have gone to church, but they just can't make it. We've got Truckers Church, so you can stop in for that. Sunday evenings, we're having a lot of fun with a new show called House of the Driver, where we talk all things football and dragons. For those of you who are into the whole experience around the new Game of Thrones series, House of the Dragon, we talk about what we think is going to come up in the episode. Sometimes we nail it. Sometimes we're really wrong. And the same thing with football, too. Sometimes we get them all right. Matter of fact, one of our guys last week predicted all 9 early Sunday games correctly against the spread, which is pretty remarkable. And so we talk a lot of football, talk a lot of dragons, and we have a lot of fun. So join us each and every Sunday evening. That starts at 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern, right here on TNCradio.live. Of course, we've got the morning show that we do every morning, the morning grind, and shows throughout the week. So you're always welcome to join us right here, TNCradio.live. Guys, that's about it. We've got about 30 seconds. Steve, I'll give you the last word here. What do you want to say?
Tom Cruise.
Okay.
Tom Cruise Scientologist. Tom Cruise Club.
The Tom Cruise Club. There you go.
Really, I'm scared, Steve.
Well, now I'm just like wondering what's going to, I feel like they're going to be at my house tomorrow or something.
Probably. You probably set yourself up in a big way, and I'm going to stop in and see you, and you'll be in all sorts of trouble.
Cool.
Yeah.
It sounds like we'll have a fun weekend then.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're out of here. We're signing off on the radio side. We'll be on the YouTube side for just a moment. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay tuned next for the Gig Economy Podcast. All right, we're out on radio.
Okay, and you guys, we're going to go out on the other side too, so thank you for joining us. I saw the chatter go down about 6:21, but for a while there it was going off. I'll have to go back and look because I saw a bunch of posting and I wasn't even aware. Keeping this shut is a little tough for me, so I think I have an answer for that, and maybe we'll talk about it. Actually, we will talk about it next week. So
we got a couple comments coming in right now, so yeah, we're still working.
Wait. Yep. Yeah, Bud Soda. What's up, Rodney? Yeah, Tommy. Yeah, Tommy, we've been missing each other. I'll get in touch with you. I have your number, so I think I texted you again. I know I called. We've just been missing each other, so I'll hit you up.
All right, guys, have a fantastic weekend and a great week, and we'll talk to you again next Sunday, same time, same channel.
Next
Friday,
right?
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, I'm already on my Sunday program now. That's my next one. So.
Good night, guys.
Thanks, guys.